Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host, Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Amy Weiss. Amy is the CEO of Amazing at Home e-commerce consulting and the host of Seller Roundtable podcast. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Amy Weiss. Amy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to start Amazing at Home e-commerce?
Well, oh my goodness, I was surrounded with incredible entrepreneurs. So I really started by coming up with an idea for a product. And, I started selling on Amazon in 2007 by flipping products. And just as a hobby, nothing major. And then in 2017, I came up with an idea for a unique product. And even though I'm an MBA and I have a couple of undergraduate business degrees, I didn't know how to take this crazy rickety prototype that I built and turn it into a real product on the market. I knew I could launch it on Amazon because I was already an Amazon seller, but I didn't know how to bring it to market. So I started sharing my story and figuring it out along the way. And as I started sharing that story, other people who had similar, thoughts, similar dreams started following along, and we were all learning and growing together. And before I knew it, people started asking to consult with me, and I didn't really have a way to I didn't have a format for that, right? So I owned the domain name Amazing at Home, and that's when I created a website over the weekend and I started consulting with people. So the rest is really history because the people that I worked with had great success as well. I launched my brands, and we have all been on this journey together ever since.
I love the word journey together ever since. Together is everything. That's why you have this group, like a community on a Facebook, and you said you multiple groups. Can you name a few of them so people get to know you, that how they can find you on?
Yeah, so our big group is called Amazing at Home. And then we have an Amazing at Home Australia group because over 80% of our community is from Australia. So we have a community for them as well. We also have our Amazing in China Canton Fair group because we take trips to China together with other entrepreneurs and we find manufacturers. And so we have a group there. And we also, now that Canton Fair has gone virtual, we host virtual. We follow the virtual fair, and we're about to do that. It's April 14th. The virtual Canton Fair is coming again. So we'll be following the virtual Canton Fair and finding new manufacturers in that Amazing in China Canton Fair group. And then we have a few private groups that are just for paid members that are members of our courses and our mastermind group. And those, you can learn more about those at amazingathome.com.
Wonderful. That's good. So, Amy, I'm sure it was not as successful when you started. I know that we all got our own scarf how we started. So what are the top 3 mistakes to avoid as an Amazon seller to create a success for themselves?
Oh my goodness, that's the top 3 mistakes to avoid. I would say number 1, don't choose a Me Too product. It's really hard to sell a product that everyone else can sell to, unless you have a massive audience. If you have a massive audience and they'll buy anything from you, well, great. Then I say more power to you. But if you really want to build a brand, a private label brand, choose products that are curated for your target audience. So that would be the number 1 mistake that I made, is I just kind of picked a product and put it out there, and it was very saturated by the time I got to market. I didn't do anything to differentiate it. I just basically copied someone that didn't have a lot of competition at the time. And then when it got out there, by the time I launched, there were so many others, and it was just a price and review war to the bottom. So that would be my first thing, is like, if you choose a product that looks really good because it doesn't have a lot of competition, get to know your audience so that you can differentiate it in a way slightly that matters. And then that way, when everyone else launches at the same time as you to discover the same opportunity, you won't, be underwater and trying to sell those products. So that would be the first one. I would say the second thing is paying too much for a product. A lot of people, they don't really look at what they can sell a product for to be competitive. So they just kind of go on Alibaba and find a manufacturer or a supplier, and they just pay whatever that manufacturer is asking. And then they don't realize that they have importing costs and all these other costs. And they're like, okay, I'm not making any money. And then they have to try and sell the product for a much higher price, and it doesn't sell well because, Amazon is a very competitive marketplace. So that would be the second thing, is really make sure that you're not paying too much. You know how much you can sell it for, and you know what you need to source it for. And then the third thing would be know your main keyword. So if you don't know your main keyword, and you launch a product under either a saturated keyword. So, how Amazing at Home became famous for listing optimization is we started taking people's really saturated products and we would find new main keywords for them. So, products that everybody's competing for the same keyword. In e-commerce, we're competing for keywords. So you want to make sure that you find the right main keyword that is going to give you opportunity and put you in front of the right audience that's looking for that product. So that would be the third thing that I've seen people do, is not know their main keyword and really launch a product that's either way too saturated of a keyword and they just can't get to page one and they're just, stuck, or it's really, really competitive and the PPC is costing way too much. I've made all those mistakes. Just so everyone knows, I think we all learn and we all make these mistakes, and I don't regret any of them. They're all stepping stones to success. So, it's a matter of recognizing, hey, I match for that. Or, I think the reason I'm not making sales is because I'm drowning in a really competitive market and I need to look for new keyword opportunities. And then, oh, wow, what I did with my first really saturated product, the Me Too product that I did, it was cat toys. What I did is I remarketed it. So I put them in a Christmas stocking and I sold them at Christmas time. So I was able to sell out of them. So never give up when you make those mistakes. Put it on the top of your list to just get it done and correct them.
Yeah, correct them. Thank you so much, Amy. Thank you for being vulnerable, sharing all those mistakes. You own it. That's our learning experience. So that, if you allow me to ask a follow-up question on these mistakes, so what are the top 2 or 3 biggest challenges? Because you are a coach, so I have to kind of ask a follow-up question because you are the expert on this one. So treat us, all the people are watching this right now, as a free coaching session. So what are the top 3 challenges the people are facing who are launching their business on Amazon to create a success for themselves? Not a mistake, challenge they are facing to launch,
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that people have is finding the right product to sell. That's it. People really, they want to sell on Amazon. They want to get into this business opportunity, and they just get stuck in what's called analysis paralysis. And, they're not sure what they should sell. They're really, really stuck. And I've seen people spend so much money on courses and spend so much time and effort into this because everyone recognizes that this is the most important decision you can make, is to choose the right product to sell. But at the same time, the way that I help people overcome that challenge is we really study a customer instead of a product. So if you study the customer that you want to sell to, Grant Cardone says, find your buyer. That's the thing. Find your buyer. Find the person who is looking for something that you can offer them. And instead of looking for products that are already selling and trying to, copy those, look for opportunities from customers who are already buying things and looking for new things. So it doesn't always mean you have to invent something. Sometimes you can discover differentiations you can make to existing products that are really, really great. So that's the first challenge, and how to overcome it is to focus on the customer instead of focusing on a list of products. Really focus on the customer and their needs, and then look for opportunities in the market to offer offer something to those buyers. The second challenge would be finding suppliers. I think this is just the hardest thing for people. Our course is separated into basically these challenges. We start with teaching you how to do market research and how to find your buyer. And then we teach you about how to develop a product. Because if you don't know how to develop a product, then you can't really differentiate it. You're just like, oh, I don't even know how to talk to a supplier about that or how to develop a product. So that would be the second biggest challenge is product development and finding manufacturers. It's hard, and it's very nerve-wracking. And I remind people, hey, when you first started your job or whatever it is that you did, you probably felt really, really lost. And you were like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to learn this. Well, you have to remember that this is not a get rich quick thing. Like it's like a graduate level education. You're learning about manufacturing. You're learning about developing products. Like this is totally new. When I was developing my product, my invention, and the engineer that was doing my prototype and my CAD asked me, what draft do you want on the slots? I was like, excuse me, what? What is that? So I had to learn everything. My college degrees on the wall don't really mean that much in this new journey that I'm on. So recognize that you're getting an education and recognize that it's going to take an education and it's going to take some practice. And you might not get it right the first time. You might make some mistakes, but that's okay. So I would say the second biggest challenge is that, like, learning how to actually develop a product and talking to and finding manufacturers. And then the third thing that people really, really struggle with is launch. Because, okay, I found my product. Okay, I got a manufacturer. I developed the product. I found the manufacturer. I imported. I got these products here. They're on Amazon. And now I'm not making any sales. They forget that they have to be able to identify those keywords and have really great photography and communicate their unique selling point to their customer. And that can be super nerve-wracking, especially if you've never done anything in marketing before. People don't feel comfortable being salesy, right? So they're just like, I have a product and I hope someone buys it. Well, you have to tell them about it. You have to learn how to study who your customer is and how to reach them. The first question that I ask when I'm on a launch consulting call with a client is, I say, okay, let's identify 3 forms of external traffic outside of Amazon where we can tell someone about your product. And usually people are just looking at me, unless they're in my program, they're looking at me with like these scared eyes going, what do you mean I have to identify where my customer hangs out outside of Amazon? Can't I just run PPC? And it's like, well, you can, but PPC is extremely expensive and it doesn't rank you nearly as fast. So it's really important to know your customer, know where they hang out, and know the communication strategy to reach them, because you're going to be able to reach them organically. Much cheaper. Organic is cheap, right? Like being able to reach out to them in a Facebook group or, in a regular, viral post on social media, using the right hashtags, that kind of stuff can really drive a lot of traffic for you. But it's about getting in front of the right eyes with the right message. And that, I think, is a big challenge for people.
Amy, you are not as good as you think. You are better. I can tell you for sure. I asked you a very tough question. You nailed it exactly, that one. Thank you so much, Amy. That leads to my question about your failure at Amazon, because why I want to ask this, because you are helping other people, because there is a reason why you're helping other people, because you failed somewhere. Other people who never failed, they never really help other people. That's my experience so far. So what are your greatest failure at your Amazon business? What did you learn from that, and how did you recover from it?
Okay, my biggest failure, oh my gosh. My product, I made a terrible mistake on my invented product. I made a terrible miscalculation. So I calculated my fees and my shipping incorrectly when I was launching this product. And which is not really excusable for me since I've been selling on Amazon since 2007. But this was my first time dealing with an extra large product. And I didn't realize that I was going to also be paying, it's a lightweight product, but it's rather large. So I didn't realize that I would also be paying for volume in shipping. And so here I expected my profit margins to be much higher because when I listed the product, and I've already gone through development, there's no going back now. I have paid for tooling. I have paid for, for this product to be this size. So it was super embarrassing when I looked at my Amazon fees and they were $25 on a $45 product.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh my gosh, the cost to make it was $13. It didn't leave a lot of profit, or room for advertising.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to fix the size of this product. I have to fix it somehow. And that was, we sold a ton of units, but kind of every time we sold one, we cringed a little because we were like, oh, I hope that the advertising wasn't more expensive than the sale we made this time. And depending on where it was going in the country, we started merchant fulfilling because it was cheaper than having Amazon fulfill. Yeah. And what it was is if someone we're in the middle of the country, we're in Texas. So if someone was ordering from the East Coast, sometimes it would be, if it was Maine, it would be really expensive to ship it. But if it was Texas, then it was $10 and it was more affordable, right? So we would always hope that people would order from closer and that we could make up some of our margin there. The second thing that I did, so the first thing we did was we started merchant fulfilling. We started fulfilling the product ourselves so that we could save on shipping costs. And the second thing that I did to overcome it is I actually redeveloped the product. So I went to China. I found a manufacturer of the bottom part of my product, which was the largest part of it. And I found a way to make it fully collapsible for shipping. So now a huge thing that was 14 inches high became less than an inch. And I made it more sturdy. I added handles, which my customers were requesting in their reviews and feedback. And then I went to my manufacturer in the US and we had a discussion about my molds and about the design of the product and what we could do to the molds to reduce the size again. And molds are made out of steel, especially for plastic products. So this was a hard challenge to overcome. But in talking with my manufacturer in Dallas, Texas, I was able to figure out how to change the mold in a way where we could reduce the size. And we saved over $14 on average on our shipping costs. We redesigned the packaging for retail and that's how we overcame it. So we took a product that we were barely breaking even on because of a miscalculation and how much it was going to cost to ship. We redesigned it, we redeveloped it, and we improved it for the customer. And then we communicated that to the customer and we made it more retail ready and we improved our profit margins to make it a successful product.
Wonderful. There's a lot of learning in this whole thing. So I appreciate it. Let's just switch to the side and talk about your successes. So what are the top 3 secrets of your success at Amazing at Home? Here's the promise. Please promise us. You're going to give us your best ones, okay?
Absolutely. So my 3 secrets of success, as far as whether you're an Amazon entrepreneur or an e-commerce entrepreneur or any type of entrepreneur, are number 1, you have to know your numbers. You have to know your numbers. I know that, we all hire accountants and stuff like that, and we feel uncomfortable with numbers. Some of us feel really great with numbers, but you have to know your numbers. And that's the thing, if because you can't make informed decisions and you can't stop the bleeding anywhere in your business if you don't know where the money is going. So you have to know what's coming and you have to know what's going. And it's really good to know what those key metrics are and be tracking them on a month-to-month basis and take a look at them. So that would be number 1. And we've had problems with our numbers at times. And, and I think all of us do. And anyone who's telling you that they've never had a problem with their numbers, is probably lying to you, right? It's something that's normal, and it's something that if as long as you have a handle on it and you're keeping track and you go, oh, ooh. I remember one time we turned on inventory placement on Amazon. That's what allows all your products to go to one warehouse. And it was a $1,900 mistake. And it ate up all of our profits on that shipment. And it was like, wow, that's why, you have to be tracking these things. You have to know what you're being charged for things, and you have to understand where that money is going. So that's number one is, know your numbers and know those metrics. The second really big key to your success is to understand your customer. Really understand and be able to connect with your customer, because buying, whether you're selling a service or a product, is an emotional thing. People want to feel connected. They want to feel like this product or service is really for them. So I can't tell you how much Amazing at Home has grown as far as like knowing who we're serving and what we are to them, and then how much my own personal brands have grown, and how much we've been able to help people 3, 4, 5, even 10x their sales just by learning about their customer and changing out their listing and their photographs to better communicate that. It changes everything. So knowing your customer, knowing your numbers, knowing your audience, and then I would say the third secret to my success, everybody always says, Amy, you're everywhere. You get so much done. I don't understand it, right? The third thing is to have a plan. You can't judge your success off somebody else's milestone. And if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to know where to begin or whether you're reaching the milestones of your path along the way. So, in our mastermind group, we plan every week, we plan every month, we plan every quarter, we plan every year. It's so important to know where we're going and what our goals are, and not worry about what somebody else is doing, because you can't be successful off somebody else's goals. You have to have your own. So planning is the biggest secret to my success. I was a war planner in the military for a long time, and I learned those critical skills, and I use them every day in my business. And if it weren't for having those goals and being able to prioritize my tasks, and also prioritize what vision I give my team, we would be a mess. And we wouldn't be getting a lot done, because there's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of things that are meant to distract you. And there's some really good marketers out there that are meant to distract you and go, hey, over here is an opportunity for you. And you stop the focus on what you're doing. And, if you just focus on what you're doing, you're really going to reach your goals. So those would be my top 3 secrets to success.
Wonderful. That's amazing. Amy, thank you for your service. You mentioned about the military, and how many, just a ballpark number, high level, how many sellers you have impacted their business from A to Z, somewhere, from at least.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's got to be over 1,000 now. It has to be, because I can literally scroll through Amazon in every category and see people that I've worked with.
So
and
if I have to start learning about Amazon, this is the right place. Okay. So Amy, I appreciate that very much. How people are watching this right now can support you?
Well, I mean, give us a follow, give us a like on our Facebook page, our Instagram, Amazing at Home. And, we also Seller Roundtable. If you're wanting to learn about Amazon, we have so many great podcast episodes at sellerroundtable.com. You can come and check it out and subscribe to that podcast. You can join us live every Tuesday. We offer free coaching after the show, and you can ask your questions during the show. So I would just say, my goal is always to provide value to the audience. And because as you mentioned, we're all on this journey together. What I value so much, having a community of entrepreneurs that I can share my journey with, and that I can hear about theirs, because we're more successful together. So if you guys are looking for a community where you can belong and where you can contribute as well as be, get some some tools for your success, you can always reach out to us. You can go to amazingathome.com. You can find us on Facebook, find us on LinkedIn, find us on Instagram. And then we have a Facebook group as well. Amazing at Home is the name of the Facebook group. And we're here to support you, and we're here together. We keep our groups small and we, definitely it was voted second best group in the world in the last seller poll. And that's because we keep the group small. When you post a question in our group, you're not going to get a bunch of spammy answers. It is like people that genuinely care about each other and are really committed to each other's success.
Thank you. Amazingathome.com is an amazing name, by the way. So amazingathome.com, check that out if you really want to be a part of a community who really cares about you, engage with you, and you are like a heart-centered person. You want to help and add a value. Start with the amazingathome.com with Amy Weiss. Amy, we are about to wrap up. I like to ask this question to almost every guest to get a kind of quick feedback and review for your guest experience on the show. Here's my question. What would you say about your today's guest experience on Growth Hacking Secret Show?
I think that this is a great show. I love the questions that you ask. I think that we can learn a lot from the guests that are on this show that are answering these specific questions, because all of us need a little boost of confidence sometimes. So it's really great to hear what other people's failures have been, what their successes have been, and what their advice for others are based on that.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Really appreciate it. What would you say as a final word?
Just thanks everyone for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you around.
Yeah, see you around. Amy, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.